especially when they have shields and upgrades. You have no upgrades for your mutas. So next time, just rally up better, retreat. You know, just you need to regroup basically because you kept sending everything in, and they kept getting more and more free kills. He had Colossus at the time. It was very, very, predictable that he was going to get Colossi at some point. He did pretty good here with this little Mutaball. He took out his Stalkers, but then he came in with more. You're better off just completely, if you see he's got a low Stalker rate and you have a lot of Mutas, yeah, focus on the Stalkers. Because what you'll do is you'll drive back this army because they can't attack any air. There's no anti-air except the Stalkers. Just take the Stalkers out, focus on them next time, and then you'll force the opponent to fall back because your mutas are just going to go to town with the ground units. He does get a third base. See, he's at 20 minutes, and he gets a third base out. The fact that he was being very, very aggressive and killing all this, he was spending all of his money on his army and upgrades and getting his economy up a little more, researches and stuff too. So at 20 minutes, he lays down his third. Or at least around 20 minutes. So in this case, he's already killed your second or your third base. You get a new third base over here. You're technically on 2 base. He's been on 2 base since like the very early stages of the game. So at this point, you're very, very behind. Not to mention, you have a lot of minerals, but no gas. You've got one extractor here, not being mined, and I think you had one over here for the longest time not being mined either. It was this one. You just got to focus on that. Get some workers in there, have a higher gas count. But even though you should have had more roaches at the time, I highly would have recommended that you got Zerglings, Speedlings. Speedlings would have made a whole lot of difference in killing this whole army here. There's no Zealots or Sentries, so this army would have been very, very vulnerable to Zerglings. Let's get that out next time. Another thing I'm going to point out is you had a lot of mutas out around like late part of the game. You had a lot of good, you had a good muta count, but I don't think you did much harassment with these mutas or scouting. Well, you did some scouting here, and I think you noticed this base was here. When you notice this base is here, you don't want to just, oh my god, there's a base here, and attack it like that. That's not good. You scouted, which was good, but attacking it is bad because, for one, he feels threatened over there. He's going to send his whole army back up there. He's going to put cannons and do all this stuff to protect this. Next time you scout this, just let it be. Come back with a bigger muta count, and maybe you'll get lucky and take out more probes. Because he doesn't think that you know that there's a third base over here. He probably thought you went over here or over here. So he wouldn't worry about the space that much. But now that he knew that you know about it, he's going to put some defense over there. So I think he even grabs these Stalkers and puts them over there, I think. No, he just gets the little army over there, so... but you did something good here, however. One thing that I highly recommend you do next time is constantly put pressure on your opponent. You've got, these 3 Mutalisks made this entire army move back just to take them out, which is good. It gives you time to expand again, obviously. It gives you time to macro up and get more units out. You got the macro hatch, a little late, obviously, but you got it out at some point. Let's see. I think at this time, you did pretty good here. You obviously did some harassment over here. But next time you get some mutas out, go ahead and just do a ton of harassment. Find the most vulnerable spots. Like right here, the whole thing is invulnerable. Which is, you could have killed probably some of this stuff if you had a big ball of muta or something. But you see, you're driving the opponent back. You even separated his army here. If you would have noticed that by having a better map control, like having vision and stuff like that, you probably could have been able. At least I would have done it. You probably would have been able to snipe out this little army here with just your mass roach count. Just focus down on units and stuff, and then you get your Zerglings out. And then you probably would have been able to take this out. Protoss player would have to bring all of his stalkers back just to defend this base that is already half dead. You know, just stuff like that. Just have a little better map control next time. Control this tower. You know, stuff like that. Let's see. See, at this point, there's really nothing you can do. Because right now, the Protoss player is like 10 times ahead of you. He's got more upgrades. He's got a whole lot of Stalkers and Mortals. He's even has a Colossi. Right now, the only thing you have are just roaches, and I just don't. Well, yeah. Okay, so you got Cloud Reconstitution at the time, or later on. Actually, yeah, you got it way beforehand. Okay, so yeah, you got lots of roaches. Your upgrades are okay. You know, I think you have a higher upgrade than the enemy here, but still doesn't matter because he's just outmassing you with everything here. This is basically when you just need to accept the fact that this base is going to go down again, but don't move these roaches out, because the only thing you're going to do is you're going to delay this army from killing this base, which he eventually will. You have a whole lot of minerals. Get Zerglings. Tons of Zerglings. You already have an upgrade for him. You got Metabolic Boost. Get Zerglings out. Probably could have put these drones in a better spot too. A lot of times people don't notice that there's a whole lot of drones here, but there are. Just bring them down here. You know, maybe get some spine crawlers up over here. See, you know, just use your money. Use the money. Let's see right now. I don't know what's going on. You got the hive out. You got an infestation pit, but I don't think you got any infestors out. That's another bad thing. Definitely would recommend you get infestor. Infestor would have been really good against this army right here, because obviously, if you would have had a high Zergling count, speedling count, you could have avoided the army, or you could have avoided the army from falling back by obviously fungal growthing and surrounding them with the Zerglings, using the roaches you had. You know, I'm just giving you scenarios that you could have used. If you would have spent your money a lot more. Fast forward it here. I don't know why your army was over here. I really don't understand why. Like, if you feel threatened that he's going to bring stuff down here, just have an overlord over here. Don't have your whole army, because you could use this army to do anything. You know, right now it's just hiding in the back, and it's giving the Protoss player another good reason to kill this off, and a reason to kill all this right here, because your army's back here, not doing anything. So I think he even scouted it, and because he scouted your army was all the way back there. He went ahead and went over here, canceled your hatchery, over here. You started building Zerglings, which is good, but you had this army back here not doing anything. You had all these Zerglings. You had quite a few mutas. In this case, if you would have attacked them, you probably would have been able to substantially wipe out like way more than half of this army. I think he might be okay because these Colossi are good against the Zerglings, obviously, and the mutas can focus down on the Colossi, and the roaches can, you know, do a ton of damage. But still, you have a higher food count than he did at the time. Getting a good surround would have been pretty good. You know, I don't even think you were supposed to use these Zerglings to attack. I think you kind of just rallied them, and they went back off to the base. Or no, they all just. These mutas need to be used. They need to be used. They're just sitting here not doing anything. You spent all that money on the mutas, but they're not doing anything. Send the mutas over here. Well, I mean, obviously the guy's got a lot of cannons, but you wouldn't have known that. Well, I guess you would have because you had these zerglings here. But basically just send him out. Do some harassment over here. He's only got 3 cannons over here. This is all undefended. See this? All of this. You probably could have killed some of this stuff, and then you would force him to move his army back. Would have put you in a good position to move all this over there. The Zerglings would have been good to even support over here. You know, you got to be aggressive at this point of the game, because if you're just going to sit back and not do anything, you're just giving the purchase player, you know, more of a reason to expand and get better upgrades and get more of an army out of it. If you don't do anything, the purchase player is going to outmass you, because he knows that you're really, really struggling right now with your army and economy. So he technically could have just came in and killed you with everything he had. I mean, just because of the fact that your army is very much separated. As you can tell, he gets this out. Just gonna fast forward it. I don't think he did anything engaging this. I think he just came back to put some more pressure on you. Yeah. This again was a bad unit placement by you. And once again, you had a lot of money. I guess you were capped almost, so you couldn't really have done much. Why are you capped so much? And 12. I guess your roach count was just really too much high. Roaches do, they have 2, so yeah, that's 120 food right there. As well as the mutas are, that's 24. So yeah, lings are 1. So maybe next time cut your roach production. Yeah, see, you had a ton of roaches here. You probably could have cut all this right here in half and massed out lings. You know, just you gotta think about, you know, what the best counter is for Stalker, Immortal, Colossi. Zerglings are pretty good. Mulisks are really bad because of all the Stalkers. Roaches are good. I mean, they're good at late game, obviously, because they can tank. Even getting Hydralisks out can do a lot of damage to Stalkers and Immortals and even Colossi because they have a higher range in Roach. Infestors, you know, you just gotta learn how to transition your army better. At this point in the game, you really need to stop with your roaches. You need to work on focus on getting upgrades and getting better units and stuff. Like at this point, you probably should have had, like, you know, mass infestor, ling, and roach and stuff like that, not just roach. And these mutas here, they all died because you didn't use them. So at least more than half of them died. So, one thing that I point out is you did pretty well here by sending your army over here. You didn't do any damage over here, I noticed. I'm going to freeze it. See, all these roaches back here not doing anything because their range is really bad. Focus this down next time. Focus this right here. You always need to focus down forges and stuff, because if you see that he's researching an upgrade, take that out. Like, no tomorrow, take that out, because it's going to delay his upgrades, obviously, and he's already ahead of you in the upgrades. Well, not really. I guess you're ahead of him because you get 2-3, but just take this out, because then once again you'll be in a little bit of a better position than you were before. And here we go. So at this point, you sent your mutas out. I think you killed the cannon over here or something. You sent your mutas out, which is good. You did some good harassment over here. And one thing I know you probably noticed was, at this point, let's see, I'm going to go to your vision here.